Unlock modern Stoicism. 9 life-changing secrets you should never share. In today's hyper-connected world, where social media encourages us to share every detail of our lives, it's easy to forget the power of discretion. We post, we announce, we seek validation. But what if staying silent about certain things could make you stronger, wiser, and more resilient? The philosophy of modern Stoicism teaches us that not everything needs to be shared, and in fact, some of the most powerful aspects of your life should remain private. In this video, we'll uncover 9 life-changing Stoic secrets, lessons that will help you protect your energy, maintain control, and cultivate inner peace by knowing what to keep to yourself. From the teachings of ancient Stoic masters like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus to the challenges of today's digital age, we'll explore why keeping certain things private is not just a strategy, but a way to live with strength and purpose. If you're here to deepen your understanding of Stoicism and apply its wisdom in your daily life, you're in the right place. Welcome to Stoic Secrets, your guide to timeless philosophy for modern challenges. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on powerful insights that will transform the way you think, act, and live. Now, let's dive in. 9 life-changing secrets you should never share. Number 1. Your past struggles. Your past struggles are the silent architects of your resilience, shaping who you are today, but they do not own you. They are lessons, not life sentences. Every hardship you've faced has carved strength into your character, but allowing them to define you can be a self-imposed prison. While it's natural to believe that sharing your struggles might invite empathy, understanding, or even admiration, the truth is far more complex. The world is not always as compassionate as you might hope. Some people will listen with genuine care, but many others will see your vulnerability as an opportunity, an entry point to manipulate, judge, or diminish you. Some will use your past as ammunition, exploiting your weakest moments when it benefits them. Others, though they may not be malicious, will categorize you based on where you've been rather than where you are going, unable to see past your previous mistakes or misfortunes. Stoicism teaches that while suffering is inevitable, it is our response that defines our character. The past is unchangeable, but how you choose to carry it determines your future. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." If you cling to past struggles by constantly revisiting them in conversation, you chain yourself to the very pain you seek to escape. The more you tell a story of hardship, the more you reinforce it as your identity. It's as if you are cementing the idea that you are still that person, trapped in the struggle, rather than someone who has moved beyond it. In the modern world, vulnerability is often celebrated, but there is a fine line between openness and self-sabotage. Many mistake constant disclosure for courage, believing that sharing every wound makes them strong, but true strength lies in overcoming, not in retelling. Growth is most powerful when it is demonstrated, not narrated. The moment you shift from telling your story of pain to living your story of resilience, everything changes. By choosing discretion, you reclaim control over your narrative, allowing your transformation to be seen rather than spoken. Consider this. When you walk into a room, people don't see your past. They see your energy, your posture, your presence. If your presence carries the weight of unhealed wounds, people will feel it. But if it radiates resilience, they will respect it. Your hardships can either be fuel for progress or an excuse for stagnation. The choice is yours. A person who quietly rebuilds after loss commands a different kind of respect than someone who continuously relives their pain for validation. Look at history, at those who have endured immense suffering but emerged stronger. They did not rise by making their struggles their entire identity, but by using them as a foundation for something greater. David, for instance, faced severe financial ruin and personal loss. He could have spent years seeking sympathy, telling everyone how much he had suffered, but he chose instead to rebuild in silence. He worked tirelessly behind the scenes, focusing on his actions rather than his words. Over time, his transformation became evident. His perseverance, discipline, and quiet determination spoke volumes. Those around him came to respect not the hardships he endured, but the strength with which he emerged. This is the essence of modern Stoicism, transforming adversity into silent mastery, moving forward with unshakable resolve. True power is not in how much you have suffered, but in how much you have grown. In the end, people don't admire stories of hardship. They admire those who rise from them. Your past is a chapter, not the whole book. Let your actions write the next pages. Number 2. Your future goals. I want you to picture this. You're standing at the base of a mountain, staring up at the peak. That summit represents your goals, the life you dream of, the ambitions you carry within you. Now, you have two choices. You can start climbing in silence, step by step, making adjustments as needed, or you can tell everyone that you're going to conquer the mountain before taking your first step. The second option might feel satisfying. It might even seem like the right move, as if saying it out loud makes it real. But here's the truth. Talking about your goals before achieving them is like spending energy on an illusion. When you share your ambitions too soon, your brain releases dopamine, giving you the same feeling of accomplishment as if you had already succeeded. It's a false reward, one that can make you feel like you've already done the work, when, in reality, nothing has happened. This is why the Stoics believed in silent action. They knew that words drain the drive needed to turn vision into reality. When you talk too much about your goals, they start to feel like accomplishments before the real work has even begun. But it's not just about psychology, it's also about human nature. Not everyone will support your ambitions. Some will discourage you, not out of malice, but because they see the world through their own fears and limitations. Others might quietly hope you fail, waiting for an opportunity to say, "I told you so." If you invite too many voices into your journey too soon, they can become distractions, doubts, and even obstacles that hold you back. So why give them that power? Why allow their doubts to weaken your focus? Keeping your goals private gives you the freedom to move forward, to adjust as needed, and to pivot without being weighed down by expectations. Think of an artist working on a masterpiece. If he shares his work too early, he opens himself up to criticism, unwanted advice, and even the risk of someone stealing his idea. But when he unveils the final piece, finished, undeniable and undeniable, his work speaks for itself. The same applies to your life. Your actions should be the proof of your ambition, not your words. This is one of the Stoic secrets that can change the way you approach success. There is power in moving in silence, in letting your results be the only thing that speaks for you. You don't need validation. You don't need approval. Every great achievement in history started with quiet determination. The world sees the end result, the climb, the struggles, the setbacks, the perseverance. Those all happen in silence, and that's exactly how it should be. So protect your energy. Guard your vision. Focus on the work, not the announcement. Because in the end, it doesn't matter how many people knew you were trying, it only matters if you reach the peak. So ask yourself, Are you climbing in silence, or are you giving away your momentum in words? Are you truly committed to your goals, or are you looking for applause before the real work is done? The Stoics knew that discipline and quiet persistence lead further than any grand promise ever will. Speak less, do more. Let your success be the only thing that needs to be said. Number 3. Your happiness. Happiness is one of the most fragile and misunderstood aspects of life, yet today it is often turned into a public performance. Social media, validation, and external approval now shape how people define happiness, creating the illusion that joy must be shared to be real. We see curated moments of success, fulfillment, and laughter, yet beneath the surface, many still struggle with emptiness and self-doubt. When you openly share your happiness, you might expect others to celebrate with you, but that is not always the case. Some will admire it, but others will see it as a painful reminder of their own struggles. Envy is a quiet but destructive force, and when people feel deprived of joy, they may react not with warmth, but with resentment or skepticism. Have you ever noticed how some people become distant when you share good news? Their reaction is rarely about you. It's about what they lack. That's why modern Stoicism teaches us to protect our happiness rather than seek approval for it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If your happiness is based on external validation, it becomes fragile, easily shaken by criticism, indifference, or misfortune. But when it is rooted in your own values, it remains untouchable. Think about it. How often have you shared something meaningful only to be met with silence, doubt, or even hostility? The moment your happiness depends on recognition, it is no longer truly yours. It becomes something shaped by the world, vulnerable to opinions and expectations. The more you expose it, the more you invite others to influence it, whether consciously or not. Instead of broadcasting your happiness, let it show in the way you live. Consider John. He doesn't post about his successes or seek applause, yet people are drawn to him. Why? Because his happiness is quiet but undeniable, a force that doesn't need validation. He doesn't prove he's happy, he simply is. And that is the kind of happiness that cannot be stolen or weakened by others. Seneca once said, "A happy life is one which is in accordance with its own nature." Your happiness is yours alone, and the more you put it on display, the more you risk external forces shaping it. Does that mean you should hide your happiness? Not at all. It simply means you should guard it, cherish it, and understand that real happiness doesn't need an audience. Think about the happiest moments in your life. Were they the ones you shared for approval, or were they the quiet moments of contentment that needed no validation? True happiness is not loud. It doesn't beg for recognition. It exists in stillness, in knowing that no matter what happens around you, your inner peace remains unshaken. This is what modern Stoicism teaches us, that happiness is not a fleeting high or the admiration of others. It is an internal state of harmony. So ask yourself, do you seek happiness for yourself, or do you seek to prove that you are happy? The answer will determine whether your happiness is genuine or just an illusion shaped for the applause of others. In a world obsessed with appearances, dare to live your happiness quietly, authentically, and entirely for yourself. Number 4. Your personal relationships. Your personal relationships are sacred, a bond that flourishes in the quiet space between you and your loved one. The moment you start sharing too much, be it with friends, family, or worse, the faceless masses on social media, you invite unnecessary voices into something that should remain between just the two of you. Seeking advice is natural, but over-reliance on external opinions often weakens the very foundation of your relationship. People, even with good intentions, impose their perspectives, their biases, and sometimes their own disappointments onto your life. Epictetus wisely said, "Keep your own good secure within yourself, for he who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe." When you expose your conflicts to outsiders, you are handing them the power to shape your emotions, to influence your actions, and to dictate the course of something deeply personal. A relationship should be a sanctuary, not a spectacle. Think of the way social media has transformed love into performance art. You see couples flaunting grand gestures, capturing their happiness in curated snapshots, but what you don't see is the reality, the disagreements, the misunderstandings, the quiet moments of doubt. This creates unrealistic expectations, both for them and for you. The more you seek validation from outside sources, the less real your relationship becomes. Suddenly, you are performing love rather than experiencing it. Seneca reminds us, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." A relationship that is constantly displayed to others is one that is slowly eroded by external judgment, envy, and pressure. You might believe you are simply sharing joy, but in reality, you are inviting scrutiny. If you allow others to define your happiness, then your relationship is no longer your own. It is theirs. When conflict arises, as it inevitably does, your first instinct should be to resolve it privately, not to seek sympathy from others. What you tell a friend in frustration one day might be forgiven by you tomorrow, but not by them. The more you involve others, the more difficult it becomes to repair what was broken. What happens within your relationship should be handled with the maturity to understand that only you and your partner truly know its intricacies. If something is worth fixing, fix it together, away from the noise of others who cannot fully grasp the depth of what you share. There is strength in discretion, in keeping what is precious guarded from the opinions of the world. A couple that respects this principle builds a relationship based on trust, on communication that is not distorted by external influences. They are not swayed by passing judgments or the illusions of comparison. They grow together, unshaken by the voices that remain outside their circle. The fewer people involved, the purer and more resilient the connection becomes. This is the essence of modern Stoicism, the ability to control what you let in, to decide what is truly worth your energy, and to protect what matters most. The secret to lasting love is not in how many people applaud your relationship, but in how well you nurture it when no one is watching. This is one of the greatest Stoic secrets, to keep your love private, not hidden, safeguarded, not isolated, so that it remains real, strong, and yours. You've made it this far because you value wisdom and seek to build relationships with intention and strength. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with the phrase, "Strength in privacy, wisdom in love," to show that you are embracing the power of discretion in relationships. Let's keep this conversation going. Deeper insights and stronger lessons are on the way. Number 5. Your financial situation. Money is a double-edged sword. Speak too freely about your financial success, and you may attract opportunists, people who see you not as a person, but as a resource. Acquaintances suddenly become friendly, not out of genuine care, but because they see an opportunity to benefit. It starts subtly, small requests, favors, and opportunities, until expectations grow. The more you give, the more some expect, as if your wealth exists for their use. Declining a request might be seen as selfish, even though you have every right to manage your finances as you choose. Generosity can become a trap, making it difficult to distinguish between those who appreciate you and those who merely seek financial gain. On the other hand, revealing financial struggles invites a different kind of response: judgment, pity, or even quiet contempt. Many people equate financial stability with personal worth, and admitting hardship can shift how others perceive you. Some offer empty sympathy, while others distance themselves as if misfortune were contagious. Worse, some exploit vulnerability, offering help with hidden costs that lead to debt or dependency. Those who once valued your presence may disappear, revealing that their interest was never in you, but in what you had to offer. The Stoics saw wealth for what it truly is, neither a blessing nor a curse, but an indifferent external that should neither define nor control us. Epictetus wisely said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." If your happiness rises and falls with your income, you have surrendered control of your peace of mind to an external force. Modern Stoicism teaches that financial discretion is not about secrecy, but wisdom. It allows you to maintain autonomy and ensures that your relationships are built on genuine connection rather than economic advantage. Consider a businessman who, despite great success, remains discreet about his wealth. He avoids the weight of expectations and unsolicited financial requests. His relationships are based on respect rather than economic advantage. He makes decisions freely, uninfluenced by external pressures, and does not need to justify his financial choices. Likewise, someone facing hardship does not lament their situation publicly, knowing that life's circumstances are ever-changing. The modern Stoic understands that dignity comes from quiet perseverance rather than public validation. Keeping financial matters private protects you from manipulation and false expectations. Money should serve you, not the other way around. This does not mean secrecy or paranoia, but mindfulness of what you share and with whom. True strength lies in knowing that you owe no one an explanation for your financial situation. Whether fortune smiles upon you or tests your resolve, let your financial state remain a quiet matter, known only to those who truly need to know. This is the way of the Stoic, neither boastful in prosperity nor ashamed in adversity. Number 6. Others' personal secrets. When someone entrusts you with a secret, they are giving you something fragile yet immensely valuable: their trust. In a world where information spreads faster than ever, the ability to keep a secret is a rare and powerful virtue. The ancient Stoics believed that loyalty and integrity were the cornerstones of a virtuous life, and few things test these qualities more than the responsibility of holding someone else's personal truth. Imagine a close friend confiding in you about a struggle they are facing, something deeply personal, something they wouldn't share with just anyone. In that moment, you have a choice: protect their vulnerability or betray it for a moment of attention or gossip. The person who chooses the latter may gain fleeting entertainment, but they lose something far more valuable: the trust others place in them. The consequences of breaking trust ripple outward. When you share someone's private matters, people begin to see you differently. They hesitate before speaking freely. They second-guess what they can share, and they slowly withdraw from the bond they once had with you. What good is it to be surrounded by people if none of them feel safe in your presence? A Stoic understands that real strength comes from discretion. There is no honor in exposing someone else's struggles, but there is great dignity in being a person of silent support. This principle is not about secrecy for secrecy's sake. It's about respect. Respect for others, for yourself, and for the unspoken code of trust that holds human relationships together. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor. Despite the immense power he wielded, he understood that true leadership came from character, not coercion. He practiced self-restraint in his words and actions, ensuring that those around him felt secure in their loyalty to him. His rule was marked not by gossip or betrayal, but by wisdom and reliability. The same lesson applies today. If you want to be respected, if you want to build meaningful relationships, you must be someone who can be trusted. Ask yourself, would you confide in someone who casually shares the private struggles of others? Would you trust someone who prioritizes fleeting entertainment over lasting loyalty? Of course not. Trust is not a given. It is earned through consistent actions, and once it is broken, rebuilding it is an uphill battle. Consider a modern example, a workplace environment. Imagine you overhear a colleague discussing a personal difficulty with someone they trust. Later, you see that information spread through office gossip. The colleague, now betrayed, becomes distant and guarded. The person who shared the secret, though perhaps enjoying the momentary drama, has lost something much greater: credibility. In contrast, think of the person who hears a secret and holds it close, offering support without seeking attention. That person becomes a pillar of reliability, someone others naturally gravitate toward. The Stoic understands that keeping others' secrets is not a passive act, but an active commitment to virtue. It requires discipline, self-restraint, and the wisdom to recognize that words, once spoken, cannot be unspoken. A true Stoic does not indulge in unnecessary speech, let alone one that betrays the trust of another. So the next time someone confides in you, remember this: their secret is not just their burden, it is also a test of your character. Will you choose to be a person of virtue, a person who others can rely on, or will you trade trust for temporary amusement? The answer defines not just the relationships you have, but the person you become. Stoic secrets are not just about silence, but about the strength of character that silence represents. In guarding the secrets of others, you do not merely protect their trust, you reinforce your own integrity, and that is something no one can take away from you. Number 7. Your core values and ethics. Your core values and ethics are not things to be advertised or debated. They are meant to be lived. In a world where opinions are broadcasted louder than ever, it's easy to get caught up in proving your morality to others. But ask yourself, does virtue need an audience? Does integrity require applause? The Stoics believed that true character is revealed through action, not words. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius's wisdom reminds us that when you truly embody your values, you don't need to justify them to anyone. Yet, so many of us feel compelled to explain our beliefs, defend our morals, or engage in endless debates about right and wrong, seeking validation or attempting to convert others to our way of thinking. But what does that achieve? Often, it only leads to conflict, misunderstanding, or resistance from those who thrive on disagreement rather than understanding. Some will challenge your beliefs for sport, not sincerity. Others may try to discredit you, not because they seek truth, but because they fear what your principles reflect about themselves. That's why the Stoic way is simple. Live by your ethics and let your actions speak. Imagine a businessman, Alex. He never boasts about his integrity, never preaches about morality, yet his choices leave no doubt about the kind of man he is. When offered a shady deal, he simply declines. When confronted with dishonesty, he quietly walks away. He doesn't waste energy explaining why he won't compromise his values, he just upholds them. And those who observe him respect him not because he argues well, but because he acts decisively. Wouldn't you rather be like Alex? Wouldn't you rather let your character be undeniable rather than debated? True virtue does not seek validation. It does not demand recognition. It exists within you, steady and unshaken, no matter who is watching. And in a world obsessed with appearances, This kind of quiet integrity is more powerful than any speech. Modern Stoicism teaches us that the less we speak about our virtues, the more powerful they become. The moment you try to prove your integrity, you dilute it. The minute you seek approval for your ethics, you risk compromising them. Have you ever noticed that the most trustworthy people rarely declare their honesty? They don't need to. Their actions prove it. The most compassionate people don't broadcast their kindness. It is simply woven into everything they do. So, what if, instead of trying to convince others of who you are, you focused on simply being that person? Wouldn't life be more peaceful? Wouldn't your influence be greater? Epictetus reminds us, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. When you stop explaining and start living, your ethics become unshakable. You free yourself from the exhausting need for approval. You become a force of quiet strength in a world full of empty words. And that, my friend, is the essence of true power. Number 8. Your unfinished plans. There's a quiet power in keeping your unfinished plans to yourself, a strength rooted in discipline, self-control, and the wisdom of experience. In today's world, where social media urges us to broadcast every thought and ambition, it's easy to fall into the trap of oversharing. But when you reveal your aspirations prematurely, you invite not only opinions, but also doubts, negativity, and even unseen obstacles. Some people may discourage you not because they wish you harm, but because they unknowingly project their own fears and limitations onto you. Others, however, may subtly seek to undermine you, whether out of jealousy or competition. Even worse, speaking about your goals can trick your mind into a premature sense of accomplishment. When you share your intentions, your brain releases dopamine, the very chemical that rewards actual success, making you feel as though you've already won. This illusion of progress can weaken your drive and steal the energy needed to turn ambition into reality. Seneca once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In the same way, the best way to outmaneuver doubt, jealousy, and external interference is to proceed in silence, letting results speak for themselves. A true Stoic doesn't seek validation for intentions, only for achievements. The modern world often pressures us to announce our goals, to seek approval before we've even begun, but a Stoic approach reminds us that true power lies in action, not words. Keeping your unfinished plans private allows you to refine them, pivot when necessary, and adapt without the weight of external expectations. When others are aware of your plans, they may unintentionally impose their own timeline on you, creating unnecessary stress and making you feel obligated to follow through even when circumstances change. This is why Epictetus advised, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. The wise person does not seek premature recognition, but focuses on steady progress, knowing that the only validation that matters is that which comes from real results. Imagine an entrepreneur with a groundbreaking idea. If he eagerly shares too much, he risks his competitors stealing or derailing his vision before it even materializes. But by maintaining discretion, he retains control, ensuring his hard work remains undisturbed until the time is right. The same principle applies to any ambition in life, whether it's a fitness goal, a creative project, or a business venture. Move strategically, act with intention, and unveil your results only when they are solid and undeniable. In a time where instant gratification and public acknowledgement are often mistaken for real progress, the discipline of quiet effort is a rare yet invaluable trait. Think of the great minds and innovators who changed the world, not because they loudly proclaimed their intentions, but because they worked relentlessly in the shadows, revealing their accomplishments only when they were undeniable. When you hold your unfinished plans close, you protect them from external influence. You give yourself the freedom to navigate setbacks without the pressure of judgment, and most importantly, you stay true to the journey itself rather than getting lost in the illusion of premature praise. In other words, don't waste energy seeking approval. Let your work, your discipline, and your actions be your testament. The lesson here is simple. Protect your ambitions, move in silence, and let your success do the talking. This is one of the greatest Stoic secrets, one that separates those who dream from those who achieve. You've just taken a powerful step toward mastering your own path. Now, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below with the words "Silence fuels success" to let us know that you're embracing the Stoic discipline of quiet effort. By keeping your unfinished plans private, you're not just protecting them, you're sharpening your focus, strengthening your resolve, and positioning yourself for real achievement. Remember, the world doesn't need to hear about your goals. It needs to see your results. Stay committed, stay patient, and keep moving forward. Your transformation is already in motion. Number 9. Your weaknesses. Your weaknesses are an intimate part of your journey, but not everyone deserves a front-row seat to them. In a world that thrives on competition and perception, revealing your vulnerabilities can be like handing over the keys to your own downfall. Some may genuinely sympathize, but others will see an opportunity to manipulate, judge, or use your insecurities against you. This is why modern Stoicism teaches the value of discretion. Your struggles are yours to conquer, not to display. As Epictetus wisely said, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. The same applies to weaknesses. When you expose them, you allow others to define you by them. The workplace, relationships, and social dynamics often reward those who appear composed and in control. While self-awareness is crucial, publicly dissecting your weaknesses invites unnecessary scrutiny and, at times, hidden agendas. Some may pretend to offer guidance, but subtly reinforce your limitations to maintain an upper hand. Others, under the guise of concern, may remind you of your flaws in ways that make you doubt your progress. True growth doesn't require an audience. It demands silent discipline, persistent effort, and an unwavering commitment to self-improvement. It is not about denying your weaknesses, but about addressing them with quiet strength. The difference between those who overcome their limitations and those who remain stuck is often in their approach. The former take action, while the latter seek validation for their struggles. Take, for instance, a leader who struggles with public speaking. If he were to openly admit his fear in every setting, he would risk being seen as unfit for leadership. Instead, he chooses a Stoic path, practicing in private, refining his skills, and steadily building confidence until his words command a room. His audience never suspects the fear he once harbored because he transformed it into strength without broadcasting his struggle. That is the power of quiet resilience. In contrast, consider someone who constantly speaks about their weaknesses, waiting for reassurance rather than taking steps to improve. Their energy is spent on words rather than action, and they remain trapped in the cycle of self-doubt. Modern Stoicism is about mastering yourself from within, allowing growth to be evident without the need for constant explanation. The strongest people don't announce their struggles, they overcome them. Your journey of self-improvement is not meant to be a public spectacle, and your weaknesses should not be invitations for judgment. They are challenges to be faced in the quiet hours when no one is watching. A truly wise individual does not seek validation for their difficulties, but instead focuses on eliminating them. But when you work on them privately and consistently, they lose their hold, and what was once a limitation becomes a source of strength. The world respects those who refine themselves through discipline rather than display their struggles for approval. In the end, what matters is not how many people know your challenges, but how well you conquer them without seeking external reassurance. Your weaknesses do not define you, your response to them does. By keeping these 9 life-changing secrets to yourself, you protect your peace, maintain your independence, and strengthen your personal boundaries. Sharing too much can make you vulnerable to manipulation, judgment, or even resentment. True strength lies in knowing when to stay silent and allowing your actions to define you rather than your words. In a world where oversharing has become the norm, embracing discretion is a mark of wisdom and self-mastery. B. 6 Stoic principles to build a stronger life. Mastering the art of discretion is just one step toward living a truly empowered life. To fully embrace modern Stoicism and strengthen your resilience, you must also cultivate the right mindset and daily habits. In this section, we'll explore 6 core Stoic principles that will help you build an unshakable foundation for a stronger, more disciplined life. Stick with us until the end, because these timeless Stoic principles can transform how you handle adversity, relationships, and even your inner battles. You won't want to miss these powerful lessons that can redefine your approach to life. Number 1. Stay calm in every situation. I want you to think about the last time you were truly tested, when someone insulted you, when life threw an unexpected challenge your way, when frustration built up and begged for an outburst. What did you do? Did you react immediately, letting emotions take control, or did you pause, breathe, and respond with intention? Mastering emotional control is one of the Stoic secrets that separates the wise from the impulsive, the strong from the weak. Life will always present situations that provoke you: conflicts at work, personal disappointments, unfair treatment. But the way you respond defines your character. A person who remains calm under pressure exudes strength, confidence, and wisdom. But those who allow emotions to rule their actions often find themselves making regretful decisions, ones they wish they could take back. Too many people live as if they are puppets to external events, letting insults, setbacks, or failures dictate their moods. But true power lies in mastering your reactions. The Stoics understood that no one can take control of your mind unless you hand it over. Instead of letting anger or panic consume you, they teach that the best course of action is always to pause, observe, and evaluate. Is this situation truly deserving of my energy? Will reacting emotionally serve me, or will it only make things worse? When you develop the ability to remain unshaken, you become untouchable. No insult can sting you, no argument can force you to lose yourself. No unexpected failure can break you. People who react impulsively are easily manipulated, swayed by their surroundings like a leaf in the wind. But those who stay composed command respect. Imagine a leader in the middle of a heated boardroom debate. An aggressive colleague throws out a harsh criticism, expecting a defensive reaction. But instead of snapping back, the leader listens, nods, and calmly responds with clarity. His composure not only disarms his opposition, but earns him admiration. His rationality and control speak louder than anger ever could. Now imagine the opposite. That same leader lets his frustration show, raising his voice, arguing emotionally, and losing his grip on the conversation. In that moment, he loses his authority. Emotional control is a superpower. The more you practice it, the more powerful you become. The key is understanding that you don't need to react to everything. Not every insult needs an answer. Not every problem deserves your distress. Some battles are won through silence. Some victories come simply by refusing to engage. When you pause before reacting, when you take a step back and detach from the emotion, you gain the upper hand. The more unshaken you are, the more control you have, not just over yourself, but over how others respond to you. Ask yourself, do you want to be someone who is easily provoked, someone whose emotions can be played like an instrument? Or do you want to be the one who remains steady, no matter what? The Stoics believed that the ultimate form of power is self-mastery. If you control your emotions, you control yourself. If you control yourself, you control your life. It all starts with a choice. Will you let emotions rule you, or will you master them? Number 2, focus only on what you can control. One of the most powerful and liberating lessons from modern Stoicism is learning to focus only on what you can control. It sounds simple, but how often do we waste energy worrying about things beyond our influence, other people's opinions, past mistakes, unexpected life events? We stress over the future, replay old conversations in our minds, or let the actions of others dictate our emotions, and in doing so, we hand over our peace of mind to forces we cannot command. Epictetus put it plainly, some things are in our control and others are not. The moment you internalize this truth, you take back your power. Instead of allowing external events to shape your emotions, you begin to focus on what truly matters, your thoughts, actions, and responses. Imagine how much mental freedom you could gain by simply letting go of the things that do not belong to you. Think about it. How many times have you allowed someone else's words or actions to ruin your day? How often do you find yourself fixated on what should have happened instead of dealing with what is? This is where Stoicism offers a profound shift in mindset. Rather than exhausting yourself over the uncontrollable, channel your energy into self-improvement, skill building, and developing inner resilience. A Stoic understands that suffering often comes not from events themselves, but from our judgment of them. When we learn to separate what we can control from what we cannot, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and emotional turmoil. But does accepting what is beyond your control mean becoming passive, resigning yourself to fate? Absolutely not. Acceptance is not surrender, it is clarity. It is understanding that while you cannot control external events, you can always control how you respond to them. There is strength in that. Imagine an athlete preparing for a major competition. He cannot control the weather, the referee's calls, or his opponent's skill level. If he wastes energy worrying about those factors, he will only distract himself from his true task. But if he focuses on his training, his discipline, his strategy, things within his control, he not only maximizes his potential, but also maintains a calm and focused mind. The same applies to you. When life throws challenges your way, will you stress over the things you cannot change, or will you take control of the only thing that truly belongs to you, your response? Modern Stoicism teaches us that the key to a peaceful mind is not in controlling the world, but in mastering ourselves. The takeaway is simple yet profound. Stop trying to control the uncontrollable. Instead, shift your focus inward. Redirect your energy toward growth, discipline, and the kind of inner fortitude that no external force can shake. As Seneca wisely said, fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant. You have a choice: to fight reality and suffer needlessly, or to accept it and act with wisdom. Ask yourself, how much of your anxiety comes from trying to change things beyond your reach? What would happen if, instead, you let go and focused solely on what is yours to command? The answer to that question holds the key to true freedom. Number 3. Do not let negative emotions control you. Negative emotions, anger, jealousy, resentment, are like storms that, if left unchecked, can wreak havoc on your life, clouding your judgment and leading you down a path of regret. While emotions are a natural part of being human, allowing them to rule your decisions weakens your self-mastery. Stoicism does not teach you to suppress emotions, but rather to understand them, to acknowledge them without becoming their prisoner. It's easy to lash out in anger or sink into envy, but the true test of character is in your ability to remain unmoved by temporary emotions that seek to control you. When you let negativity dictate your actions, you hand over your peace to forces beyond your control. But when you master your emotions, you reclaim your inner strength, fortifying yourself against the turmoil of the outside world. Think of a time when someone insulted you. The immediate reaction might be anger, a rush of words ready to defend your pride. But what does reacting in anger achieve? It only gives power to the insult, proving that you can be easily provoked. A Stoic, however, remains indifferent, recognizing that the insult reveals more about the other person's character than their own. Seneca wisely said, "A sword never kills anybody. It is a tool in the killer's hand." Likewise, an insult is powerless unless you grant it meaning. By maintaining composure, you prevent the situation from escalating, and more importantly, you retain control over yourself. Emotional discipline does not mean you do not feel. It means you do not allow fleeting emotions to steer the course of your life. When you react impulsively, you become a puppet of circumstance. When you choose your response, you become the master of your fate. Modern life constantly tests this discipline. Social media is filled with provocations, offensive comments, divisive opinions, and a culture that thrives on outrage. But reacting to every slight only drains your energy and distracts you from what truly matters. Instead of being drawn into negativity, practice detachment. The next time you feel anger rising, pause, take a deep breath, observe the emotion as if it were happening to someone else, and ask yourself, does this deserve my peace? Most of the time, the answer is no. True power is not in domination over others, but in control over yourself. The more you practice emotional discipline, the stronger and more unshakable you become. Over time, this self-mastery leads to resilience, confidence, and a deep sense of inner peace. This is one of the greatest Stoic secrets. Master your emotions, and you will master your life. Let others be ruled by their tempers, their envy, their bitterness. You, on the other hand, will move through life with clarity and calm, unaffected by the storms that consume those who have not yet learned to govern themselves. Number 4. Let go of the past. Letting go of the past is one of the hardest yet most freeing things you can do. The past is unchangeable, yet many of us allow old regrets, mistakes, and failures to hold us back. How often do we replay painful memories, wishing we had acted differently or chosen another path? This endless cycle of regret traps us in a prison of our own making, keeping us from moving forward. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly." In other words, the past is over. The only thing that matters is how you live now. Modern Stoicism teaches that while we can learn from the past, we must not let it dictate our future. Reflection is valuable only if it leads to growth, not if it becomes a burden. Carrying resentment, shame, or regret over things that cannot be changed is a poor trade. It robs you of the present. Instead, treat the past as a teacher, learn from it, take what is useful, and discard the rest. Think of a businessman who made a costly mistake. If he obsesses over it, he stays trapped in self-doubt, afraid to take risks again. But if he accepts his failure as a lesson, he becomes wiser and moves forward with confidence. The same applies to relationships, careers, and personal struggles. Dwelling on past missteps keeps you stuck, while learning from them propels you forward. The Stoics remind us that regret steals time from the present. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is the essence of modern Stoicism. We cannot change the past, but we control our response to it. Holding on to regret is like gripping a burning coal. It only harms you. Why carry pain when you can choose to let it go? Instead, focus on what you can do now. Every day is a chance to apply the wisdom gained from past mistakes and to live free from the weight of regret. If you've lost an important relationship, you may have spent months or years replaying what went wrong. You might think, if only I had done things differently. But the past won't change simply because you wish it would. You can carry that burden forever, or you can accept what happened, learn from it, and use those lessons to build better relationships in the future. Pain and regret are natural, but they should not be permanent. The Stoics knew that suffering often comes not from events themselves, but from our unwillingness to let them go. True freedom comes when you fully embrace the present, unchained by the past. If you let past mistakes define you, you will never grow into the person you are meant to be. No matter how great or terrible your past was, it is done. What matters is what you do now. Whether it's a failed relationship, a missed opportunity, or a moment of weakness, you are not defined by your past, but by what you choose to do today. The past is gone, the future is uncertain, but the present is in your hands. As Seneca wisely said, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Let go, move forward, and start anew." Let me ask you this. If you're ready to break free from the chains of the past, to live without the weight of regret holding you back, take action now. Like this video and comment below. Embrace the now. Because the truth is, you can't change what's behind you, but you can control how you live today. The past holds no power unless you give it permission. Don't let it keep you stuck. Learn from it, let it go, and move forward with the freedom you deserve. Number 5. Live simply and focus on real values. In a world that constantly tells you more is better, more money, possessions, recognition, it's easy to fall into the trap of chasing external validation. Society convinces you that success is measured by luxury, status, and popularity. But have you ever noticed that those who seem to have everything, the fame, the admiration, the lifestyle, are often the ones who feel the most empty? They reach the top only to realize that happiness isn't there. Why? Because true fulfillment has never come from material things. It comes from within. The Stoics understood this long before our world became obsessed with wealth. They taught that real wealth isn't in your bank account, but in your ability to live contently, free from the endless hunger for more. A person who depends on external things for happiness is like a bucket with a hole. No matter how much they pour in, it's never enough. Living simply doesn't mean rejecting comfort or choosing poverty. It means freeing yourself from the illusion that happiness can be bought. A Stoic is not against enjoying life's pleasures, but understands they do not define a person's value. The fewer unnecessary desires you have, the freer you become. Now, imagine a man who earns millions but is never satisfied. He's always chasing the next big thing, constantly worried about how he's perceived, and his happiness depends on comparison. If someone else has more, he feels like he's losing. Contrast that with someone who, though not rich by society's standards, finds joy in life's simple moments, a deep conversation, a peaceful walk, or personal growth. He isn't weighed down by the need to prove himself. Instead, he focuses on what truly matters: his relationships, his inner peace, and his character. So, who is truly wealthier? The one with endless riches but never enough, or the one with less but complete peace of mind? When you stop measuring success by what you own and instead focus on things no one can take away, your wisdom, integrity, and self-discipline, you start to understand what real abundance is. Success isn't about appearing successful to others, it's about feeling whole within yourself. Take Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most powerful men. Despite being emperor of Rome, he lived simply and constantly reminded himself that external riches meant nothing if his soul was poor. In Meditations, he wrote about how fleeting wealth and fame are, how meaningless they become compared to the strength of one's character. If a ruler of the world understood that money and power don't bring lasting fulfillment, why do so many still believe otherwise? Today, the pressure to show off wealth and status is greater than ever. Social media makes it seem like we must prove our worth through what we own. But have you ever wondered why the pursuit of more never ends? It's an illusion. The moment you reach one milestone, another appears. There's always a bigger house, a faster car, a more luxurious vacation, a more exclusive circle. As long as you define success by these things, you'll never feel like you've truly made it. A Stoic chooses to step off that exhausting treadmill. They practice gratitude for what they have instead of obsessing over what they lack. They don't waste time envying others because they understand that external things come and go. But inner peace is something only they can create. And here's the real secret. When you stop chasing, you start enjoying. You begin to see that happiness isn't found in things, but in how you live. Imagine waking up each day not feeling pressured to impress others, but feeling content with who you are. Imagine measuring success not by what others think of you, but by how aligned you are with your values. If you can live like that, then you are richer than any billionaire trapped in endless desire. Stoic secrets are not about renouncing the world, but about mastering yourself within it. When you focus on what truly matters, you gain a freedom no amount of money can buy. So ask yourself, are you living for others' approval, or are you living for something deeper? The answer to that question will define not just the quality of your life, but the legacy you leave behind. Number 6. Let your actions speak for you. Let your actions speak louder than words, for true strength and competence do not require announcement. They reveal themselves in the way you live. How often do you see people boasting about their skills, their future plans, or their so-called achievements, as if speaking about success is the same as achieving it? But does talking about a victory make it real? Modern Stoicism teaches us that those who are truly skilled, truly wise, and truly strong do not waste time seeking validation through words. Instead, they dedicate themselves to quiet mastery. The more we talk about what we intend to do, the less likely we are to actually do it. Words, after all, are easy. Action requires discipline. And yet, so many people fall into the trap of seeking praise before they have earned it, wanting recognition before proving their worth. But tell me, do you respect the person who brags about their talent, or the one who demonstrates it without a word? Confidence is quiet. It does not demand attention. It commands respect through action. Those who are truly competent never feel the need to advertise their abilities. Instead, they let their work speak for itself. Imagine a craftsman, someone who has spent years refining his skill. He doesn't need to proclaim that he is the best. His craftsmanship tells the story for him. Those who see his work recognize the mastery in every detail, every stroke, every precise movement. But now, picture someone else, someone who loudly declares how talented they are but produces mediocre results? Who do you trust more? Who earns your respect? Stoicism reminds us that bragging does not build credibility, it diminishes it. The moment you seek validation through words rather than deeds, you set yourself up for scrutiny, doubt, and even competition from those who may see your confidence as arrogance. And if your actions fail to live up to your words, you risk losing not just credibility, but also self-respect. That's why the Stoic way is simple. Be so good at what you do that people can't help but notice. Let your results create your reputation, not your words. True competence needs no announcement because it is evident in everything you do. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The fruit of this life is a good character and acts for the common good." And character is not built through speech. It is shaped through repeated, consistent action. So ask yourself, are you focusing on proving yourself to others, or are you focused on mastering your craft? Are you spending more time talking about your future or actually working towards it? The strongest people in history were not those who shouted about their greatness. They were those who acted with quiet resolve, letting time and effort tell their story. This is the essence of modern Stoicism, the ability to trust in your own discipline, to detach from the need for approval, and to let your actions be the only proof you need. When you live this way, you stop seeking recognition and instead become someone worthy of it. And that, my friend, is the difference between talking about success and truly achieving it. As we close, remember that mastering privacy and emotional control isn't about secrecy. It's about protecting your inner strength and ensuring that outside influences don't dominate your life. The Stoic secrets we've explored today aren't just philosophical concepts, they're practical tools for building resilience, self-control, and quiet strength. Modern Stoicism teaches us that true growth comes from within, not from external validation. When you apply these principles on a daily basis, choosing discretion over unnecessary disclosure, strength over empathy, and discipline over indulgence, you'll cultivate a mindset that's unshaken by life's challenges. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these Stoic secrets resonates with you the most? How do you plan to apply modern Stoicism to your life? Leave a comment below and share your thoughts. And if you found today's video valuable, be sure to like, subscribe to the Stoic Secrets channel, and share this with someone who could benefit from a Stoic perspective. Stay strong, stay disciplined, and I'll see you in the next video.